There comes a point in every World Cup when the conversation changes. For the past few weeks, fans have debated who looked the strongest in the group stage, who scored the best goals, and which teams disappointed. But once the knockout rounds begin, none of that guarantees anything. History has shown us that the World Cup has a habit of rewarding the team that adapts the fastest, not necessarily the team that impressed the most. That's what makes the round of 16 so fascinating. Every remaining nation believes it has a genuine chance of lifting the trophy. Every coach knows one mistake could end years of preparation, and every player understands that one unforgettable performance could become part of football history. Welcome back to Goal Theory. Today we're breaking down every round of 16 matchup and making our predictions for who will advance to the quarterfinals. These aren't emotional picks, and they're certainly not based on reputation alone. Instead, we're looking at recent performances, tactical matchups, squad balance, momentum, and how each team has handled pressure so far in this tournament. Some of these predictions will probably divide opinion. That's the beauty of football. Every supporter sees the game through a different lens. So as we go through each tie, I'd like you to make your own predictions as well. By the end of the video, let me know how many of my picks you agree with, and which one you think I've completely misjudged. Let's begin. The first matchup is one that perfectly captures why the knockout stage is so unpredictable. Canada against Morocco. If someone had predicted this round of 16 fixture before the tournament started, very few people would have believed them. Yet both teams earned their place here in very different ways. Canada have impressed with their organization. They haven't tried to outplay every opponent. Instead, they've remained disciplined, defended compactly, and taken their chances when they appeared. Their energy without the ball has been one of the biggest surprises of the tournament. Morocco, meanwhile, continue to prove that their remarkable World Cup performances in recent years were never a coincidence. They're difficult to break down, incredibly well drilled, and one of the most dangerous teams in transition. They don't need long spells of possession to create opportunities. One interception can quickly become a counterattack that leaves defenders scrambling. This match could easily become a tactical chess game. Canada will want to press higher and increase the tempo. Morocco will be perfectly happy slowing the rhythm before striking when space opens up. The midfield battle is likely to decide everything. If Canada manage to recover possession quickly and prevent Morocco from launching quick transitions, they'll have an excellent chance. But if Morocco succeed in pulling Canada's midfield out of position, they'll create exactly the kind of openings they thrive on. It's one of the closest ties in this round. After looking at the balance of both teams, I believe Morocco have just enough tournament experience to edge it. Not comfortably, not convincingly, but enough. My prediction, Morocco advance. Now we move to a fixture that feels completely different, France against Paraguay. Before the tournament, most people would have called this an easy prediction. Now, not anymore. Paraguay have quietly become one of the biggest stories of this World Cup. Their victory over Germany wasn't built on luck. It was built on patience, defensive discipline, and the ability to remain calm under enormous pressure. Throughout 90 minutes and eventually penalties, they looked like a team that genuinely believed they belonged. That confidence changes everything. France, however, remain one of the deepest squads in international football. Even when they haven't produced their absolute best football, they've still found ways to win. Their attacking quality gives them multiple routes to goal. If one player has a quiet evening, another usually steps forward. The challenge for France won't be creating chances. It'll be staying patient. Paraguay won't allow open spaces. They'll defend in numbers, compete for every second ball, and make France earn every opportunity. That's exactly how underdogs turn knockout matches into uncomfortable nights for favorites. The longer the score remains level, the more belief Paraguay will gain. France know that. Which is why I expect them to start aggressively. If they score early, the game changes completely. If they don't, this could become one of the longest 90 minutes they've played all tournament. Even so, I still think France have enough quality to find the breakthrough. It may not be pretty, it may require a late goal, but I expect France to move on. My prediction, France advance. Next comes a match that I'm genuinely excited to watch. Brazil against Norway. This is exactly the kind of fixture that often produces one of the best matches of the tournament. Brazil have looked more balanced than spectacular. They've controlled games intelligently without always dominating them. Their defensive organization has improved significantly compared to previous tournaments, while their attack still possesses the creativity capable of unlocking almost any defense. Norway arrive with momentum. Their confidence has grown with every match. When you have players capable of turning half chances into goals, you're never out of a contest. Norway won't fear Brazil. That may sound surprising, but knockout football often rewards teams that play without hesitation. The biggest question is whether Norway can handle Brazil's movement in the final third. Brazil constantly rotate positions. Wide players drift inside. Fullbacks overlap. Midfielders arrive late into dangerous areas. Tracking all of those movements for 90 minutes is incredibly demanding. If Norway lose concentration even briefly, Brazil usually punish those moments. At the other end, Brazil must also remain alert. Norway have shown they don't need many opportunities. Give them space once, and they can change the entire match. I think this will be entertaining from start to finish, closer than many people expect. But Brazil's experience in these situations gives them the edge. My prediction: Brazil advance. And then we arrive at what could be the biggest spectacle of the round of 16. Mexico against England. Mexico against England feels like one of those matches that could look completely different depending on which team scores first. England have been efficient throughout the tournament. They haven't always produced breathtaking football, but they've rarely looked out of control. Their defensive shape has been solid. They've managed games intelligently, and perhaps most importantly, they've shown the patience that knockout football demands. Rather than forcing attacks, they've been willing to wait for the right moment. Mexico present a very different challenge. Few teams in international football feed off emotion like Mexico. When confidence starts building, they become incredibly difficult to contain. Their movement between the lines, quick passing combinations, and relentless work rate can turn even the most organized defense into chaos. They also carry the support of millions of passionate fans, creating an atmosphere that often feels like a home match wherever they play. The first 20 minutes could decide the rhythm of this contest. If England settle quickly, control possession, and force Mexico to defend for long periods, they'll gradually take command. But if Mexico begin on the front foot and create early chances, the pressure shifts immediately. England have occasionally looked uncomfortable when matches become fast and unpredictable. This isn't simply a battle of tactics. It's a battle of tempo. England wants structure. Mexico want momentum. I expect England to dominate possession without necessarily dominating chances. Mexico will happily wait for transitions, looking to exploit spaces left behind England's advancing fullbacks. Set pieces could also become a decisive factor. England remain one of the strongest teams in world football from dead ball situations, while Mexico have occasionally struggled defending aerial deliveries. For me, that's where the difference lies. It won't be comfortable, it won't be straightforward. But England's discipline over 90 minutes should be enough. My prediction: England advance. Now we come to what I believe is the standout fixture of the entire round of 16. Portugal against Spain. This is the kind of match that doesn't need introducing. These two nations know each other inside out. Many of their players compete against each other throughout the club season. They've shared unforgettable European Championship encounters, dramatic World Cup battles, and countless tactical duels over the years. This isn't just another knockout match. It's a rivalry. Portugal arrived full of confidence after overcoming Croatia in a physically demanding contest. That victory showed maturity. They stayed patient, handled pressure well, and found solutions when the game became difficult. Spain, meanwhile, have looked like one of the tournament's most complete sides. Their passing remains exceptional, their pressing is coordinated, their movement without the ball constantly creates passing options. Watching Spain is like watching a team that always seems one step ahead of the opposition. But Portugal possess something that makes this matchup fascinating: balance. Unlike previous tournaments where they relied heavily on individual brilliance, this Portuguese side looks complete. Their midfield can control possession, their defense has remained organized, and they carry attacking threats from multiple areas of the pitch. This could easily become the most tactical game of the knockout stage. Every adjustment made by one coach is likely to be answered immediately by the other. The midfield battle may ultimately decide everything. Whichever side controls that area will probably control the match. Then there's experience. Both squads have players who've competed in World Cup knockout matches, Champions League finals, and European Championship finals. Pressure won't surprise either group. That's why I think moments, not patterns, will decide this tie. One mistake, one brilliant pass, one save, one finish. Those tiny moments often separate great teams at this stage. After thinking about this matchup repeatedly, I've changed my prediction more than once, but in the end, I'm backing Portugal. Not because they're the more talented side, not because Spain are weaker, because Portugal seem to be peaking at exactly the right time. My prediction, Portugal advance. Next comes another fascinating contest, United States against Belgium. If this tournament has taught us anything, it's that the United States are no longer satisfied simply reaching the knockout rounds. Their performances have shown confidence, athleticism, and an increasing tactical maturity. They're pressing with greater intelligence, keeping possession more effectively, and showing far more composure in difficult moments than previous generations. Belgium, however, remain one of Europe's most technically gifted teams. Even with changes to their squad over recent years, they continue producing footballers comfortable under pressure. Their biggest strength isn't pace, it's decision-making. They rarely panic. Even when opponents press aggressively, Belgium usually finds solutions through clever passing and movement. The United States will almost certainly try to increase the intensity. High pressing, quick transitions, direct attacks. Belgium will attempt to slow everything down and force the game into their rhythm. Whoever succeeds in imposing their style probably wins the match. This prediction may surprise some people. I think this goes to extra time. Both teams match up remarkably well, but Belgium's experience in these situations gives them the narrowest of advantages. My prediction, Belgium advance after extra time. That leaves two final round of 16 matches, and both have the potential to completely reshape this tournament. Argentina against Egypt, Switzerland against Colombia. Neither prediction is as simple as it first appears, because if the World Cup has already shown us one thing, it's that reputations no longer guarantee survival. The next match on my list is Argentina against Egypt. At first glance, this looks like one of the more straightforward fixtures in the round of 16. Argentina have the bigger names, the greater tournament experience, and one of the strongest attacking units left in the competition. But if we've learned anything from this World Cup, it's that straightforward matches rarely stay that way. Argentina have had moments where they've looked brilliant. They've controlled possession, created chances, and shown flashes of the football that made them one of the favorites before the tournament began. But they've also had periods where they've switched off defensively and allowed opponents back into games. Against stronger teams, those moments become dangerous. Egypt have earned their place here by doing the basics exceptionally well. They're organized without the ball, disciplined in midfield, and they don't lose their shape easily. They're not a side that will dominate possession, but they're more than capable of frustrating an opponent for long stretches. The key question is simple. Can Egypt survive the opening half hour? Because Argentina usually grow into matches. They move defenders around patiently before finding gaps between the lines. If Egypt can keep the score level deep into the game, they'll begin believing an upset is possible. Still, I think Argentina possess too much quality in the attacking third. Their movement is sharper, their squad is deeper, and they have players capable of producing moments that completely change the rhythm of a match. I expect Egypt to compete far better than many people anticipate, but I still see Argentina progressing. My prediction, Argentina advance. That brings us to the final round of 16 fixture. Switzerland against Colombia. This might actually be the most underrated match of the entire knockout round. Neither team receives the same attention as Brazil, France, Portugal, or Argentina, yet both have quietly put together impressive tournaments. Switzerland remain one of the most disciplined sides in international football. They defend as a unit, rarely lose their structure, and almost never panic under pressure. They don't usually overwhelm opponents, but they make life extremely difficult for anyone they face. Colombia, on the other hand, brings something completely different. They're unpredictable. They attack with confidence, they're comfortable taking risks, and they play with an energy that can completely change a game in just a few minutes. This is a fascinating tactical battle. Switzerland will try to control space. Colombia will try to attack it. If Switzerland slow the tempo, they'll increase their chances considerably. If Colombia can turn this into an open game, they'll fancy themselves against anyone. The biggest difference for me is creativity. In knockout football, eventually someone has to unlock a compact defense. I believe Colombia have slightly more players capable of producing that decisive moment. It may take 90 minutes. It may even require extra time. But I'm backing Colombia to find the breakthrough. My prediction, Colombia advance. So after looking at every matchup, here are the 8 teams I believe will reach the quarterfinals. Morocco, France, Brazil, England, Portugal, Belgium, Argentina, and Colombia. It's a fascinating mix of traditional football powers and nations that have steadily built momentum throughout the tournament. Of course, every prediction comes with risk. That's why the World Cup is unlike any other sporting event. One unexpected red card, one injury, one penalty shootout, everything changes. Some of these picks may look brilliant by next week, others may age terribly. And honestly, that's part of the fun. Football has a way of reminding us that no prediction is ever guaranteed. Before we wrap up, there's one prediction I'm willing to make with complete confidence. The quarterfinals are going to be extraordinary. If these matchups happen, we'll be watching some of the biggest football nations in the world fighting for a place in the Final Four. Every game becomes more tactical, every mistake becomes more expensive, and every moment carries even greater weight. That's exactly why this stage of the World Cup is my favorite. It's where pressure creates unforgettable stories. Now it's your turn. Which of my predictions do you agree with? Which one do you think I've completely got wrong? And more importantly, who do you believe will be lifting the FIFA World Cup trophy in a few weeks' time? Leave your complete quarterfinal predictions in the comments below. I'll be reading through them, and it'll be interesting to see whose bracket survives the knockout stage. If you enjoyed this analysis and want more in-depth football content throughout the tournament, make sure you subscribe to Goal Theory, turn on notifications, and leave a like if you'd like to see my quarterfinal predictions once these matches are complete. Thanks for watching, enjoy the football, and I'll see you in the next video.